Welcome everybody. Stranger9, good to see you. Dominique. What's up, Grandma? You ready, Grandma? I got your email. Cal, I missed you, brother. The last few days, the talks were very late. What's up, Grandma? Is it okay if I call you Grandma? Because it's a fun handle. How you doing, brother? Yeah. So yeah, yesterday with I wish you were around, man. I know it's too late. It's too late for me too, but it was a fun talk. But what's up, Enigma Express? See a lot of regulars today. This makes me happy. Simulation talk number 72, going strong. Whew! These late nights were something. Well, welcome to Simulation Talk 72. It's kind of crazy how time flies. So I'll wait a few more seconds, maybe a minute, to see if we have any newcomers so we can do a little intro and then we can dive right in. Yesterday, Cal medical professional came on and they were raising some potential weak points and concerns about the project, but then got really interested and that was fun. Hopefully they'll come back today. Their name is Michelle. Wonderful person. That was great. So, welcome to everybody on TikTok and on YouTube and X and Twitch. So far, working on figuring out exactly how we're doing our Discord. I know Azamun, or wait, who did that? Somebody from YouTube did that. I don't want to misname the person who did that because I'm deeply grateful. Yeah, in the rerun, if you go to 1 minute, I'll tell you exactly when actually, hold on. It was, they came on at 1:28:44, if that helps. So you don't have to watch the whole thing if you don't feel like it. So yeah, but that was a fun conversation. And it's always fun to talk to a professional who also have, they have some technical abilities. Do I stream simultaneously? Yes. Using, not OBS, Streamlabs. I think it uses the same technology, but it's a little bit more user-friendly. And at the moment, I don't really have a complicated setup, so it's easier to do it this way. Eventually, we'll, probably start using OBS when it's relevant. To all the people on TikTok, you can always jump to YouTube if you want to make longer comments, because you don't have the limit on the number of things you can write in one text. My YouTube channel is Dango Thoughts, DANGO Thoughts, or just follow the link tree in the description. I mean in my profile. Also, I have much longer videos there that are talking more about the substance at length. I have a couple of fun videos in the works, and I have 2 very fun interviews coming up. I don't want to spoil the surprise, but they're definitely going to be worth it. So anybody who wants to subscribe, I highly encourage it. Question: when you first saw the console, did it come through while on breakthrough? No, it just kind of like I smoked a little bit and it just comes on. Very small amount. I can't see it in a breakthrough. I can only see it when I come back from the breakthrough. What's up, all the people? Gaia Moon, all over the place. Welcome everybody also once again. I don't know how many people we have on YouTube and Twitch and X because it's all mixed up, but welcome to all of you. Raspberry, how are you? Okay. So I think we have a little bit of an update. Perfect. I'll wait for it to go up a little more and then I'll give a short introduction and then we can dive right in. So to all the newcomers who are not familiar with the channel, we mostly usually talk about the simulation hypothesis. My name is Danny and I'm claiming to have found actual proof we live in a simulation. I became vocal about my discovery a few years ago, in which I'm describing the experiment. Very simple. If you project a diffractive laser on the surface and you ingest a particular molecule that I can actually name on the chat, you will see code running in surfaces. This observation has now been replicated over 1,000 times worldwide, and I am connected with some of the leading researchers in the field. I mean, I'm in contact with, not connected with them. Doesn't mean that they all agree with me. However, this is an ongoing conversation, a very lively one, and we meet here every single day to discuss the experiment, the discovery, as well as adjacent topics like science, religion, spirituality, philosophy, God, whatever comes to mind. The spirit molecule, exactly. Thank you so much, Cal. And anybody is welcome to come and ask and talk. As long as we're respectful, everybody are welcome, and all differences of opinion are welcome here. That's the substance of the matter. If you would like to visit my YouTube channel, it's Dango Thoughts, D-A-N-G-O Thoughts. If for some strange reason you feel like following me on all the platforms in which I'm streaming, my X account is Goler Danny, and my Twitch is LaserX83. They're both weren't really active until recently, but now we're trying to grow them. So if you feel called to do that, I highly recommend at least the YouTube channel, just because there's longer videos there from what you see here on TikTok with more information. Okay, let's see what we got here. The topics, once again, simulation theory, philosophy, science, religion, spirituality, and so on. Whatever comes to mind, really, whatever everybody feels like they want to unpack. Let's see, so far we're not missing much as far as questions. I think we're good. So we can dive right into something. You have a question, go ahead. I have the rock climbing aura. Well, I'll take it as a compliment. I'm very scared of heights. I mean, I rock climbed before, but I'm very scared of that. Alex Honnold seems like a superhuman to me. What do I think about the 2 moons? I know nothing about them. So if you want to tell me about it, we can talk about it. How long does it take to build a laser? It shouldn't take long. I mean, depending if you're doing it on a regular basis, then you can probably make one in 15-20 minutes, but usually it doesn't take more than 30 minutes. If you go to codeofreality.com, you have the full list of what you need to get on Amazon or Alibaba in order to build one, or you can order one that we make, but we highly encourage that you make it yourself, because it's actually something we're just kind of doing as a public service more than anything else. It does help a project here and there, but to be honest, it's not really that financially viable, so we always encourage you to actually do it yourself. But if you feel, regardless, the information about what you need to get is on codeofreality.com. We're supposed to have 2 moons. Why the end of the month? Oh, by the end of the month. Mini moon of our regular moon. Are you talking about supposed to be some kind of a foreign object passing by Earth, right? My timing might be wrong. Looking it up. Chase, how are you, brother? What are you talking about, Cal? What timing? What did you think CERN is truly trying to study, monitor? I think CERN is doing exactly what they say they're doing. I don't have any reason to think that CERN is doing anything else. Who is calling it a moon? A moon is any object going around the Earth for a little while. Timing? How are you, Chase? If you feel like coming on and chatting, always great to see you, brother, so come on. Just let me know and I'll pull you up. Actually, I'll send you... Corey Hoffman, how are you? Object will orbit 929. Got it, yeah. To 9... Yeah, so a moon, the definition of a moon is anything that goes around a planet on a regular basis. Have you heard of Portal Brand? No, I have not. I'm going to send you an invite, Chase, and if you feel like coming on, feel free. Cal, same goes for you. I don't see a way to invite you, but please let me know if you would like that, and I'll pull you up. So, I don't know how to pronounce your handle, but the person was asking about who was it? Wait. Who was it? I think I'm confusing the handles here. So oh, somebody asked about CERN. I can't find it now. But what is this thing about CERN that concerns you? What is it about CERN that makes you concerned? Of course, brother. Grandma, who? CERN? Yeah, they should have the spirit molecule. I'm waiting for the day that I'm going to have to tell them, if you want to understand the sky, you got to get high. They're supposed to be changing our timelines. Who is? Who is changing our timelines? Let me talk to him. No Portal brand has it. I think I'm concerned. What about CERN? Oh, yeah, okay. People on social media are very funny. So what makes you think that CERN are going to change our timelines? Charles, how you doing, man? Good to see you. I see you popping up here and there, and it's always lovely to have you in the chat, even for a second. Somebody on YouTube said, Harry said, Shiva the Destroyer of World is a mascot of CERN. You know, I have to ask, Harry on Eyeball, how are you? Good to see you here. And whomever said something about CERN here on TikTok, do you guys know any scientists? Real question. Do you know personally any scientists? What's up, and okay, so yeah, the answer is no on both counts. So I think if you would know a scientist, you wouldn't think that even for 1 second. Because it's not that there's no hubris like in every big community, especially of very smart people, but the aim of basically any scientist worth their salt, and really just like as far as the personality goes, this is the most like just the furthest thing from that you can possibly imagine in a person. It's just somebody who's trying to understand the world. The whole, I would submit to you that all of the conspiracies they have to do around science is lying to you, math is trying to pull a fast one on you. All of that is manufactured by people who are actually the ones that you want to be worried about. So if you find your local meme dealer and slap them on the wrist, because they are the problem. And that I'm saying that without a shred of doubt about that, because if you're looking at the personality of scientists, they can be a lot of things, but they're definitely not trying to be destroyer of worlds. If anything, this is their biggest fear. People in science generally, they just want to understand what's going on, and they devote their life to it. So okay. Signs don't lie to you. What about? Yeah, there's a lot of question marks, man. What about all those doctors lying during COVID? First of all, doctors, there are doctors that are also scientists because they do research, but scientists generally, they're a slightly different flavor of a person. That's first of all, that's on that side.
What are you doing?
What is it?
It's peeing on everything.
Just take them outside. What's up, Emily?
Just take them outside.
Take them again. Not generalize. Are you trying to say don't generalize? What's up, Kirsten? Good to see you. What about all those doctors lying about doing COVID? I mean, we should. So yeah, again, you might want to make a separation first of all between what scientists are and what doctors are. I'm not saying that doctors necessarily lying to you, but they are a different kind of person. There are doctors that are scientists because they are doing clinical research about things, but in general, this is why I said but this is why I asked in general if you know any scientists, because I think the problem is the distance of familiarity. That's what the issue is. When you don't know any people of a particular kind, it's easy to slap labels on them. That's actually what prejudice is. That is the definition of prejudice. So I would highly recommend that, and I mean this, I don't mean it like tongue in cheek, I mean it actually. If you can find a meetup or something of a kind that have that involves scientists or philosophers, highly recommended if it's actually scientists, that is more open to not just scientists, maybe some kind of a discussion group or something like that. I think that can actually help bridge a lot of these, and I think it's important because the fear aspect of this whole thing is actually the problem. It is not to say that there are no issues with the way that institutions do things. Of course there are. But the incentives around money, let's say, they're pretty boring as a conspiracy drive, right? Like, it's just very straightforward. You have an incentive to make more money, so you do. And the honest thing there is that most people, not all, but most people would fall into the same kind of behavior pattern without even noticing it, because it's easy to not do the right thing when you're invisible within a large organization, and it's a diffusion of responsibility. There's actually a lot of studies on this. And when there's diffusion of responsibility, almost all people, this is well studied, do the wrong thing because they don't feel like they're responsible. So to blame the people doesn't make any sense. What you want to do is you want to try and create some kind of incentive in the system to behave differently. So it's easier to be a hero, basically. And but what I find corrosive about this kind of attitude in general is because it is the thing that is actually creating the fractions in society. Now, it actually shouldn't be that hard to find some kind of a meetup group or something like that with people who are scientists. And I assure you, if you tend to believe that all scientists are just kind of like conniving people, you'll be very surprised. They're very wholesome people, which is the word I would use. They're wholesome people. They want to understand the world. They might not fall in the same framework of belief system as a lot of other people, but they are just interested in the truth, nothing else. And most people in CERN, even though physicists that work there will definitely tell you that it's a pissing contest and the ego there runs pretty high, but the general drive and telos of the place is definitely not to destroy anything, but to understand the deepest constituents of matter. And in fact, we have a lot of great benefits that come out of it. So I would say that the people who do the most harm are the people that are actually ignorant, and they spreading misinformation and negative ideas like that about people who are just trying to do their best at putting their skills to work so that humanity can be better. Can they haphazardly do something that might potentially be dangerous? Always. But actually CERN is the last place I would place that fear on, because all of these ideas about creating black holes that will devour the earth and all that stuff, if you like, that's not a real thing. You can create miniature black holes, but they're way too small and decay very quickly. And I know it sounds scary, but it happens all the time, right here, right now, even without CERN. So I would say that find your local scientist and hang out with them. It will cure a lot of your unnecessary concern about a lot of these things. Now, to comment, not to escape your comment about COVID, you had a situation that lent itself to a lot of fuckery, so to speak, because it was an emergency and you could do a lot of things without being noticed, so to speak. So the money grab was insane. However, it is, I know it's a contentious issue for people, but it's not as straightforward as the people who believe that, this is just like the government was trying to pull a fast one. Believe me, the truth is that everybody was just kind of confused, And what is the phrase? Never attribute something to conspiracy you can attribute to incompetence. Most of the time, it's just incompetence, coupled with the thirst for money, which is, I know it's sad, but it's just natural. Like I would love to believe that I wouldn't be one of these people, but when you're in that position, only then you'll know if you're one of these people or not. And having that sentiment running on your hard drive is helpful because you have a little bit more compassion towards people in general. I think that's a healthy thing to have. Didn't you see opening ceremony for Switzerland rail opening? Looked disturbing to say the least. I haven't. I don't even know what that is, but you can inform me and we can talk about it. Okay, let's see. I haven't looked at the comments yet, guys, so there's probably a barrage, but let me see. Wouldn't the simulators create patch your discovery? If it would be a secret, yes, but it actually tells you why it's probably not a secret. It's okay to know. It's just a matter of, can you understand it? Can you understand what's going on? That's all. Science is not an infallible system. Nobody said it is. And I appreciate you. All hell, it's chill. I don't know how to pronounce that handle. Official, that's a good question, but it could be feature, not a bug. What's up, Nico? Let me know if you want to come on. Have you had any success with the laser experiment while sober? So far, no, but I did meet a couple of people that did see the code without anything. Oh, thank you for the rose, Goblin. Which study? I was saying a lot of things. I think the only study I referred to is you're talking about the ones where people do the wrong thing. Well, the students' prison experiment in Stanford, I think it was. Was it Stanford? Let me see. Prison experiment. But that's just one of many that were run. Yeah, Stanford psychology professor. Yeah. So basically, it was a famous experiment of which there were variations of. And hold on, let me just do one thing here so we don't run out of battery. That's not going to be fun. Okay, let me close this. And close this. And close this. And close this. Cool. Yeah. So, Grandma, the most known study that everybody kind of talk about always is let me just go navigate back to where I was. There you go. Top 113. Wish I had some spice and diffraction laser. Nice. Anyways, so basically what they did is it was a very contentious experiment, but basically he put a bunch of students together and he divided them into two groups. Half of the students were prisoners and half of the students were the guards, just arbitrarily chose them. And he just let them kind of like play the role of guards and prisoners. And after a very short period of time, things escalated quickly. Students started basically literally abusing the ones that were guards, started abusing the prisoners. Regular students, most of them probably liberals. I'm not saying liberals are bad. I'm saying, just so you know, there's probably people who most of them kind of like believe in liberal values. So that's definitely not the thing that is the cure for it. I'm not saying on the other side it is. I'm just telling you that even though people probably believe in a lot of very kind of like liberal values, it's a human thing. It's not a political or left or right thing. Started mistreating each other. Another experiment they did was with electric shocks. So they basically put people in a room and they told them, hey, when you pull this thing, when you twist this thing, then this person in the other room is getting a shock and they don't see you. And then the doctor, the experimenter would tell you, hey, can you bring it up? We want to test something. And then when he got to the certain level where the other person was like, kind of like screaming in agony, they're like, whoa, like, get me out of here. Like, I actually don't remember if they were actors or that was actually happening. I think they were actors. But basically, they were like, I think it was that they were pretending, but you can check it out. And they were like screaming in agony, and then the experimenter was like, no, 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 it's okay, go ahead, go ahead. And they were like, no, like they're suffering, and you're like, and it's like, it's okay, it's on me, it's responsibilities on me. The second they said the responsibilities on me, 90% of people, like a crazy percentage of people, cranked it up all the way to the top. So it's diffusion of responsibility. When you feel invisible, there's something about that. You feel like it's no longer on you. So you're just a thing. You're just a tool. Like if you wouldn't do it, somebody else would. So it doesn't matter. And this is it's there to show that most people, I know we all believe we're the best people ever, but most of us will definitely comply with whatever it is that is put on us by the system. So the lesson is you always want to reform the system. People are way less influential than they think. The system is the one actually dictating what's going to happen. Have for Danny. I tried it a long time. Can't see it sober. Yep. Absolutely. Have you had any success with laser experiment while sober? Oh, sorry, I read this before. Yes, like nuclear power is positive, nuclear weapons negative. Yep. Okay. Let's see here. I don't doubt that stupidity plays a big part, a big one. Portal is a psychedelic company that has the molecules. Sorry, I was nuclear? What does that mean? Are the letters really tiny and moving fast? Because I think I may have seen them. Yes. Yes. Goblin, you've seen it without the molecule? The study on human behavior, yes. Oh, yes, I watched the documentary on that. Yep. There is our soul made of plasma. So Nico sent me a research paper that claims to have found, to analyze NASA data. Oh, people are going to love this here. And they claim that, there's good reasons to believe that the plasma that they see in these images is actually alive. Forget the fact that they don't really define consciousness or alive or any of that in the paper. But extravagant claims, and this just shows you how the sausage is made. It's not that it's impossible. I mean, with what I've discovered, I know that a lot of things are possible. But it is funny how the story that talks about it is kind of like presenting it like, oh, this is reputable scientists, It's like, okay, but if you read the paper, there's literally not one shred of evidence in there. There's just like a lot of, here's a picture, that's what we think it is. Here's a picture, that's what we think it is. There's a Netflix doc. Yep, there's a Netflix documentary about it, about the Stanford experiment, exactly. Should we vote in the simulation? What do you mean by that? Ask an engineer. Voting is simulation? It's what I call the lower M matrix simulation. The social norms, what the government is trying to enforce and want you to believe. The whole big media machine and all of that stuff, that's small m matrix. You also have capital M matrix, which is the actual simulation, like a computational environment you live in. Human behavior when authority is at play is crazy. Human behavior is crazy, period. we live with our crazies. Of course, police are the worst. Godek, I'm not really sure you would think that if you are being robbed or mugged. All of these like blanket statements, they're not useful for anything. Yes, there's on with railroad crashes. Fake shown. Wait, again, how people also do not speak to authority. No, not speak to authority. As long as there's authority, they kind of remove responsibility. Thoughts on having children? Well, I don't have them yet, but I know I will, so I don't have thoughts yet. Sabanquela Martinez. Such is life. Got a new thing on my console today. It's a headset. Thank you, Nico. Teaching me stereo vision, if that makes sense. Stereo vision, that sounds fascinating. Basically, anyone in Southern California can get the molecule easily. I mean, that's true. Serious question, can you boof the molecule? I'm not up with the I'm not up to date with the lingo. What does boof mean? Somebody educate me, please. No, I know you're not kidding. I'm also not kidding. Danny, can I tell you you need to be careful where you get it from? The energy is important. Absolutely. I was just laughing because it's true. Anybody can get the molecule. Can I hear Hebrew? Can I read Hebrew? Yes, I can actually. Why 9:15? What is 9:15? Ooh, LOL. What's up, Terry? So seriously, what is boof? My favorite rabbi expression to most questions is some say, some say. My favorite is that I've seen I've seen a children's book one time, and it says it can always be worse. Boof is a manner of ingesting a certain body cavity. Ah, I see. Thank you. No, you won't be able to do that because it has to be smoked. But maybe you can try. What's up, Terry? Good to see you. I saw you you saw me at the Diddy party, but you were there. Oh, I remember you. That's awesome. Wait, were you the chick behind Kevin Hart that her hair caught on fire? Was that you? Well, this company is doing Molly studies of the VA. Oh, wait a second. I actually know. I think I know I think I know somebody who works for that company. Buffo. Can you boof Buffo? Sounds stingy. Blowing smoke up your ass. Exactly. That is exactly right. There's no It's very, very direct, Harry Eyeball. I appreciate it. He just said placing it in anus equal boofing. Is that what the kids are into these days? What does the world come to? Honest thoughts on Feynman? One of my favorite people. Don't tell me you dislike Feynman. Come on, this would be heartbreaking. You need more renegades like him. I named my dog Richard Feynman. So, originally, now we changed it because we didn't have a choice. Have I seen Zeitgeist? Wait, I think is this by Ben Joseph? Because I know Ben. Hold on, or I'm confusing it with some other film. Let's see. Oh no, this is like a. No, this is like a really famous film, right? Thank you for the heart, Kirsten. Appreciate you. I love Feynman, but he is polarizing. How can Feynman be polarizing? What is he polarizing about? What? The people are crazy. That was. I mean, I don't understand. Sometimes the world just surprises me in so many ways. Bioavailability for certain substances is a large percentage higher. That is true. A lot of my female colleagues told me he was a womanizer. Okay. Are you judging a scientist by his? This is Well, you know my spiel about it. You know my spiel about people who are judging other people for human traits. He's a man. He loves women. Where's the problem? A friend of mine is gonna try a bluefin ketamine soon. Nice. Now that's gonna be that's gonna be a ride. One is nothing to do with another. Did I watch Breaking Bad? No, never. You know what I highly recommend? Maybe you already read it. There's his autobiography called Surely You're Joking, Mr. Feynman. Amazing. He was into so many things. It's crazy. And by the way, the way that he was treating his wives was actually, I would say, better than almost most husbands I've ever heard. But I think, to me, Nico, again, you know my spiel about it, but to me, it's so clear. The second you hear people pointing fingers at other people, especially when they were really good at something, for a very negligible or even just a human trait, it means that they can't accept their own humanness. It means literally they feel like this shit doesn't stink. Like literally, that's what it means about that person. Because if you know what being a human is, you know that we're all weird and we all have our kinks. And if you don't know that, you haven't lived long enough. So you shouldn't be pointing fingers anyway. Yeah, Feynman is a G. Have I read Sermon on the Mount? A long time ago, yes. If you're pointing fingers, it's time to look inwards. Exactly. Just do this. Whoop! You'll discover a lot more about the world. Yep. We're all weird AF. Whatever triggers you in someone else is something you recognize in yourself. Whoa, whoa, whoa! That would be funny. Friend of mine. Ketamine, right. Okay, so. What can we talk about today? Yesterday we had, again, I'm kind of reiterating what we said before. Yesterday, what's up, not of this world? Welcome. Australia, right? So we had a medical professional that came on. They do a lot of toxicology testing for the FDA, I think. And if I'm not mistaken, if they're here, they'll correct me. But they came on and presented maybe some potential concerns or some flaws in the logic of the experiment. And then we started talking and they got very interested, and that was fun. So we stayed in touch, and I'm going to be updating them about it. Apparently, they also read John Dean's work, which was extra interesting to me. It's lovely to meet people who are well read and get themselves into all kinds of interesting alleys of research. I'm scared to blast off on a molecule again. Had a scary time. My last megatoke. Yeah, so you got to be super careful. Something that is important to mention, that this thing is not for everybody. You should probably, if you're ever thinking about doing it, do it with somebody who's very experienced, that can guide you, that can help you, because these territories can be sometimes scary. But it can also be the best thing that has ever happened to you. Absolutely. So yeah, you can always check out the conversation from yesterday on YouTube. Dango Thoughts, DANGO Thoughts, or just follow the link in my link tree up here. Also, if you want to join the chat there, you have less limitation on how many words you can put. Streaming through all of them. And to all the people who just came in, if you're unsure about what we're talking about, you can ask, and I will refresh the introduction. I don't mind doing that. But if you're not asking, I would assume that you kind of know or don't really care enough. So, one of those. Just let me know if you want me to actually tell you what we're talking about in general. I have a friend that Michael should I talk to him about what? Terry? Your text will always be seen here too. So what? don't say crazy things. It's okay. What is the molecule? The spirit molecule. The molecule, exactly. Just Google the spirit molecule. I can't say it, and don't type it, because if you will, or I will, then they might flag the chat. It's just how it works. LED shields could be harmful for X-rays. What's up, Eric Doggin? What LED? LED? Oh, LED shields. See, I'm reading it as LED. That's crazy. LED shields could be harmful for X-rays. What do you mean? It's supposed to protect you from X-rays, no? You see the secret language symbols that Alison Gray created on the molecule? No, it does not look like the Alison Gray characters. It's a big distinction I make. I'm actually talking about it in one of my videos. It looks straight up like Japanese, but it's not Japanese. I've had it confirmed by 2 people who speak Japanese. Maybe TikTok didn't like my comments. I don't think I said anything bad though. Wait. They removed one of your comments? Strange. If you put an address of anything, they remove it. I don't know why. They don't really let it through. Also, Terry, I didn't understand your last comment. So if you want to explain, I would love to understand. Do you see this comment? By the way, people on YouTube, you tell me, do you see my comment coming in twice on YouTube? Both as YouTube comment by me and by LaserX83? Or this is just for me, it tells me that it also... That's so strange that it's doing that. I have a question. Have you had any analyze for Sumerian or Aramaic? Well, analyze, I think, is a... You've seen the code, Kirsten, so I think analysis is not a real thing that you can do with it at the moment. But I can tell you from looking at it that it doesn't look like that. The people who have seen without molecule, what did they do? Meditate? No, they just naturally saw it. I guess they're just naturally sensitive to that space. Build a bubble chamber for next... Oh, that would be amazing. Actually, that's a great idea. Are you sure you aren't just tripping the same trip? Well, you would have to explain how that happens. Oh, only by Dango thoughts. Wait, I'm confused. Yeah, but do... Oh, okay, so you don't see the one from LaserX83, right? On YouTube, I'm asking. I have seen a few characters look like Sumerian. Let's see. Yeah, I've never seen that. I guess you can interpret some of them. Some of the... I guess I can kind of see it. But not close enough for me. But that's interesting. Okay, good, great. So I guess Twitch sees it. By the way, everybody on YouTube, if you feel like liking the live, that helps the chat. Same goes for Twitch and X, and of course TikTok. If you're enjoying this, if you can tap your screen so we can get more viewers. Bubble of love. Thank you guys. It's a charming read from what I listened to. I'll probably check it out in Libby. Do a lot of people want to try this but not know how to find a molecule? I don't know what a lot is, but yeah, people usually are intrigued. But I again, you know, it's important to understand that this is definitely not for everybody. Unless you're already doing something with the molecule, you're familiar with it and all of that stuff. I would say I wouldn't jump in and just to do it with the laser, unless you do some prep and you do some work with the molecule, because that's also very, very important. The Feynman memoir thing, yeah, it's great. There's also a sequel that I listened to, and it's okay. It drags a little more, but the first one, Surely You're Joking, Mr. Feynman, is a great one. It has like a very deep nostalgic feeling, and it's a lot of fun. Bubble of Love is great. What is this discussion about? How are you done? So usually we're talking about the simulation hypothesis, science, religion, spirituality, philosophy, God, whatever comes to mind. There we go. Thank you, Kirsten. Lead shield slow down the X-ray enough to damage tissue, where without it, it would fly right through. You know, Eric Doggin, at this point, I don't know what to believe anymore. I don't know. Maybe. I have to look into it. I've never heard this before. But if we have an expert here, we'd love to hear from you. The education and knowledge you share is appreciated and so important. I appreciate you, Over the Rainbow. Also, your handle is very hopeful, so that also helps a lot. In this day of electronic communication, what information should be prioritized? Great question. I think just the limiting of your interaction with the screen in general, but I'm a big fan of technology. I don't think we should, move away from it or anything like that. I think it's actually the next step of our evolution. But we do need to first anchor ourselves in ourselves and be able to connect to the roots so we can fly, right? So just limit the screen time. If you can do 1 day a week without a screen, it's difficult, but it makes a big difference. I would highly recommend that. And obviously, the more you have content that just educates you as well as entertains you at the same time. For example, I didn't know that TikTok had the STEM thing. Like, I had no idea. I thought it was new, and I got so excited. Like maybe 2 months ago, I discovered it. And I was telling my fiance, I was like, "Oh my god, look, they added the STEM thing." She's like, "What do you mean it was always there?" I'm like, "What?" She's like, "Yeah, it was always there." I'm like, "What? Then what were they complaining about in Congress and all of that? If people can pick it, the fact that they don't pick it, it's not on TikTok. It's just click on the thing." Any idea where the code is only 0 to 5? No idea. Also, again, it's not actually 0 to 5. It's the closest thing you can say about it. Japanese, Hebrew, and 0 to 5 are the closest things in the family of that it kind of looks like. Really, honestly, everything that has to do with the specifics of what we see as the code, I don't really know why that is. It's going to be a while before we, I think, dive STEM talk. STEM talk is great. You should, me with any technology. Nice. What are your thoughts on Kabbalah? I just started researching it. My line so much. Yeah, I mean, the Zohar is a very, very wise book. They do say that up until a certain age, in some sects of Kabbalah, they don't allow people under like 35 or 30 to ever get into it because it can like destabilize you psychologically. Definitely, there's a lot of wisdom there. So I highly recommend to get into it. Oh, you are the best STEM creator by far. Others creators shut people's ideas down all the time. Oh man, that's the worst. And also, what a compliment. Thank you so much. What's up, John Rex? Eric Doggin is in the house. If you stare at anything sober, brain gets bored and changes it. On molecule, brain gets bored quicker. Have you seen the code the way that I'm describing? Just out of curiosity, Eric Doggin. Look up Gene debut books on video on YouTube. Thank you, Stranger9. Wait, can you repeat what you just said and explain about stabilizing you? Destabilizing? Oh, yeah. They don't allow certain people under a certain age to look into the Zohar, which is the book that Kabbalah studies, because they say it might destabilize your mind. You have to be... They say you have to have a family and at least 2 kids, if I'm not mistaken. Something like that. Now, it doesn't mean that you necessarily have to have that, but it grounds you, basically. You tried it, Eric Dog? Okay. Have you seen the digits like very concretely? Can you see how it's unshakable? And you can't really talk about it in terms of like your brain just got tired, because it's not really like kind of there. It's like super there. Have you looked into Carl Jung's... Thank you, Jamie. Appreciate you. Carl Jung's archetypes and consider them in the context of collective trips. Yeah, this is what I always say. One of the issues with looking at the extended state studies at entities, because they can kind of be explained by the archetypes. You can say, look, the mind at bottom have these mega structures of archetypes that it interacts with, and they're all the same for all of us, and this is why people interact with very similar things. That would be a very straightforward explanation, actually. So this is why I find them very this focus very flimsy. I like to cut off screen time at least 30 minutes before bed. Sleep is way too important. Are you hinting that you gotta go, Cal? Because that makes me sad, but at the same time, I understand. I was in the mental hospital with a Hasidic Jewish dude who was obsessed with Kabbalah. Yep, sounds about right. Had the beard and side curls and everything. Was only missing the black hat. They took away the black hat because they're hiding all the drugs in there. He's the one who told me the some say thing. Oh, I see. Interesting. That is a. It's like a thing. If you say, you automatically sound wise. Some say. So there's. I'll give you one really fun little wisdom thingy from the Kabbalah, which that I really love. So you know how in the Jewish tradition you're not supposed to mix milk and meat. You're not supposed to eat them together. You're supposed to eat them like a few hours apart. And there's like a lot of reasons for it, but the straightforward part of the Old Testament that talks about it, it says, do not eat a lamb in its mother's milk. That's what it says. Do not eat a lamb in its mother's milk. Or do not dip a lamb in its mother's milk, something like that. And in the Kabbalah, there's basically 3 layers of each interpretation of every single one of the 613 commands. You know, the Jewish people don't have 10 commandments, they have 613 commandments. And each and every one of them has 3 interpretations, 3 layers of interpretation. The simple, I'm trying to translate it directly, the simple, the implied, and the secret. The simple, the implied, and the secret. So the simple is literally, do not mix a lamb in his mother's milk. The implied is, don't mix meat and milk, don't eat them together. And this actually is interesting because it does mess up your stomach because the enzymes are very different. The third one is the secret, which is do not mix giving and receiving. The reason being is because when you gift something, you feel pure, white. So you gift something like milk. When you receive something, you blush like meat, red like meat. So don't mix those two. When you receive something, just enjoy. Don't think about what you're going to give back, and let the person who's giving you enjoy the giving. When you give something, don't give with the thought of what you're going to get back. Don't mix those two, because then you're ruining the giving. So essentially, and each and every one of these commands have like these 3 levels. I really love that kind of stuff. It's very neat. Cut off screen. I do have to go soon, but that comment was based on when someone asked about technology. It'd be good versus bad. I hear the Talmud is an evil book. Yeah, of course you do. You remember, I don't know if you were here for the beginning of the conversation, but the same people who give you all the memes about scientists being evil, they're the people who give you that nonsense. So, did you get educated in Russia? No, I was in Russia till I was about 7, yeah, something like that. So only like basically first grade. Why? Because Russia, because of the stringent schooling. Is that what you mean? But when you say it for yourself, right? Wait, let me see. Oh, what do you say for yourself? Yes. Thoughts on astral projection and avoiding reincarnation. Odd topics played after your video on YouTube. So astral projection, a lot of people tell me about it. I've never done it. I've never, never even thought about it. But I believe that people can do it. I just never done it. I don't really know what the difference would be between that and doing the molecule. I don't know if there is any, but I don't really have any comments because I don't have an experience of it. And avoiding reincarnation, I think I'm kind of falling more in, not that I have any like better reason to believe what the Buddha said about the topic than anybody else, but I guess maybe I'm influenced by the fact that I am meditating and I know the benefits of it. So I would tend to listen to the person who, had the most wise things to say on the subject from that perspective. And according to the Buddha, the only way to stop reincarnating is to achieve nirvana, which is just to step out of the whole cycle. And according to these teachings, even though the Buddha himself never really uttered anything specific about the afterlife, but what people write as implications from what he was teaching, that you're in the cycle even if you go to the highest of heavens. You're still in the cycle. You can still drop to the lowest of hells, even if it's after a very long time, because you basically burn out all your good karma and you can go down. So the truth, I have no idea. However, I would think that would probably be true. In order to stop reincarnating, you actually have to step outside of the circle of everything. So you would have to relinquish everything, like everything. Just let go of everything. The need for all the stuff that even we consider wholesome, let go of that as well. Let go of family, let go of love, let go of food, let go of life, let go of everything. Don't kill yourself, let go of life. Like, don't be attached to being alive. These are very high, very tall orders. Mind blown. Whoa, okay, Kirsten. Well, I appreciate that. Basically, when you're on the molecule, you're projecting out of your body as well. Yeah, that's what it feels like. So I wouldn't know, but I don't know because I haven't done the other thing. I guess we would have to ask a person who's done the molecule and also astral projects all the time, and they can tell us if they feel the difference. What I never understand, and it's just very straightforwardly, it's what I mean. Like, I don't understand when people talk about it as a matter of fact. That I don't understand. People say like, "Hey, did you astral project yesterday?" Yeah, I did. Okay. Really? Just like you went to Ralph's? Is that it? How do you talk about it like it's nothing? That is the thing that makes me suspect of it. It's like people just talk about it like, yeah, totally. Yeah. I just astral project all the time. And it's not that I don't believe it, it's just that if you do, how can you talk about it like that? That sounds so like it's nothing. Yeah, I feel like all my Russian friends understand quantum mechanics and gravitation by default. Yeah, we're born as babies. We understand quantum mechanics. I meant the video topic was actually don't go into the light when you die. Wait, video by me? I don't remember. Or you're talking about some other video? Lots of tooth in Joshua Tree. Tooth? Wait, lost a tooth in Joshua Tree. Wanted to give her tooth. Oh, okay. See, okay. 7 lost a tooth in Joshua Tree. I didn't, because your handle also starts with the word 7. That's why I was confused. Joshua Tree, and wanted to give her tooth to this statue there to connect. That's so adorable. She's losing her teeth, huh? You got it, Raider. Appreciate you. Oh, to the Buddha statue. They have a Buddha statue there? I didn't even know that. Autoplay. So basically you have a platform where you document other people's experiences. I don't, but people send them to me all the time, sure. Can people astral project and read something from another room? I think it would be easy to prove if that's the case. So again, I'm not an expert. I don't know almost anything about it. But isn't astral projection by definition not hovering just above your body, but like straight up going out there, like astral projecting? I'm truly asking. I don't know. Well, I'm glad that's what played after my video and not some commercial for Viagra, you know? That would be much more unfortunate. The realistic skeptic, exactly. Yes, right. By where she's going to be doing her Vipassana. Oh, yeah, 29 Palms. It's a very special place. I'm very excited about her going, Kirsten. Don't be annihilated. You will not have time for a handshake into afterlife. I don't know what that means. Pretty fair to be skeptical in a world full of baloney. Yep. It's not that even like again, because of what I discovered, I know that there's a lot going on than more than we consider. It's just that when people talk about it willy nilly, like it's nothing. It's like nothing. It's like all of a sudden everybody has superpowers. There's an entire subreddit of people that just, new to astral projection. Come right in. We have a pamphlet. We do it all the time. What? A mystery sausage. Oh, there you go. Astral projection happened to me once. People on submarine will be in oblivion forever. Eric Duggan, are you having a mental breakdown right now? Is that what's happening? The government has to know about the code by now. I will let you take it in good spirit. Government has to know about the code. I don't think they do. The government is, again, I don't fault you for this because the movies. But the government is the most boring entity ever. I assure you they don't know anything. Literally know nothing. They can't even figure out your taxes without you doing it. It's not the government that you're talking about. You're talking about some kind of like secret organizations probably, but definitely not the government. Get her talking on the mic. Yeah, it's got a lot of mic drops here. Maybe the difference between knowing and believing is how casual you treat something. Maybe, but it's almost like how do we put this? There's a certain element of human behavior that makes it clear what the real, like it indicates something else, right? Let me think. So I guess I can see, because I've interacted with the molecule and with the laser for so much that for me it's kind of like, yeah, I'm just kind of saying it because I say it every day. So it's kind of like, okay, how much can you say with like a lot of emotion, right? But if somebody's talking to me about it, I'm never gonna be. It's like, yeah, you just do it and then whatever. Like, no, it's like you gotta prep the person. You gotta talk about the fact that it's a lot. You gotta talk about the fact that the laser, you gotta separate it because if you've never done it before, you first want to get acclimated to the molecule. There's all these things that are very important. But when it just sounds like, okay, here's the difference. I feel like what the difference is. With the molecule and the laser, you have a very simple, straightforward thing that you can do. Do this, do that, see the code. So I know it works, right? But if you're doing something that you know for a fact that not everybody can do. So first of all, if you don't know that, there's something also wrong with your theory of mind, where you don't understand that just because you can do something, it's not that, I'm sure you must know, if not you, but like people who do astral projection, that not everybody can do it. So where's the sympathy and understanding of the fact that that's the case? That's what I'm asking. You're talking about a thing that technically is like a superpower, as if you just said nothing. It's like saying, yeah, I flew yesterday to the thing. Whoa, you mean you took a plane? No, I can fly. I can fly. You can fly? Yeah, I can fly. Okay? It's like, that's not the case for the majority of people, so why are you talking about it as if it's an obvious thing? That's the weird part. The government is like the DMV, basically. Well, yeah, you want to know what the government is like? Go to the DMV. That's a great way of thinking about it. You ever do TikTok battles? Yeah, I don't do battles. It's I find them completely useless. It's entertainment, sure, but I don't think we need more battles in the world. We need a certain kind of communication that isn't a battle. Not me. The laser. If you I've discovered a few years ago that if you project a diffracted laser on the surface and you ingest a molecule that I cannot name, but you can watch my videos and you'll they're pinned to the top and you'll know what I'm talking about. You will see code running in surfaces. So essentially, I discovered that you can see a portion of some higher dimensional space this way. We should also replicate the Michelson-Morley experiment and try and observe the ether. Yeah, I saw a whole thing about that experiment on the Toe podcast recently with this guy who said that that experiment was a complete dud, and everybody kept on repeating that it was a big success, but it never succeeded. They just gave up, basically. Interesting. So basically, Einstein and all the people kept on repeating it, that it was a great experiment. They were just repeating what other people said. So they were also a hostage of just like what everybody said. You should battle Sailing Songbird. I watch his live a lot. He goes live with his Starling on his. Why should it be a battle? Also, how can it be a battle if I'll just win right away? Oh! My coworkers looks identical to Sailing Songbird. I've been interested in the molecule already, and then I come across this. No coincidences, sir. Consensus. Yeah, you know what I mean. I'm very eloquent. I can't even say the word eloquent. Eloquent. No coincidences. Raider, welcome. So basically, wealthy people and corporations run everything. Do they run you going to the bathroom? You can only talk about people running things as it pertains to directly influence your freedom to do an immediate thing. If you're competing on that level, I would say, okay, you have a point. But also, it's just the natural course of things, which, by the way, not just for humans, just in nature. I don't know if you know this, the Pareto law, the one that states that, the one that we always use to kind of talk about the differences in classes and all of that. So you have the 90% of the population in the world have 10% of the population, top percentile, they have the 90% of all the funds in the fun. Well, that is true in the universe. It's just how it is. The 10% of the biggest stars contain 90% of all matter. It's how it goes. It's not even a human thing. But you can still do a lot of things, right? So yes, there's class difference and we have to remedy and all of that, but it's not like a thing that, I always say that as much as I love George Carlin, when he was doing his spiel about like, you want to know how much freedom you have? You have 13 types of donuts. That's the freedom you got. And I always go, yeah, that's great. Sorry, 13 types of bagels, right? I was like, yeah, great. These bagels are great. Okay. What's your point? Like, are you competing on the level of corporations? Are you Elon Musk that you have to worry about that stuff? You can go to work. You can buy a lot of things. You can do whatever. Nobody's forcing you. You can do whatever. You can just move and live in a tent somewhere. If you want to live in society and enjoy the benefits of a modern world, that's the price. That's okay. The disgruntled part of it is I never understand. People complain about living the best lives humans have ever lived. Literally, nobody has ever lived with so much abundance, and we complain about it. Blondie spoke about symbols all over Studio 54 when she was on a molecule. This ball was on. In regards to Christ consciousness, he was discussing your way of thinking. You had to know to unlock it. Thank you, science. Hashtag science. So it's not static. What is not static? If you see the number static, then you definitely didn't see the full thing. You need more molecule. Yeah. You look like Josh Groban become an atheist. Wait, why is it so familiar? Hold on, I gotta look it up. The number of comparisons I get a day, it's hilarious. Let's see. Josh Groban. I can kind of see it. It's hilarious. Is he like religious? Who is he? I that name sounds so super familiar. I can see the face. Okay. You see content creators. Okay, interesting. Oh yeah, talk with other creators. Absolutely. That would be fun. I'm onto something. Nice. Let's see what we have on YouTube here. Where else am I streaming? I'm streaming in. So first of all, streaming in on here on YouTube, Twitch, X, but the majority of people are on TikTok. The handle on TikTok is Danny Goller. Let's see if it just. I don't think it allows me to do it with the handle. With the. There you go. Perfect. So what can we talk about? Have another way of besides battle. Oh, you mean that's what it's called? It's called battles. Got it. Okay. No, I don't know enough about it. Co-host, multi-guest. Oh, there you go. Have you read Shannon's Mathematical Theory of Information? Yes. Why are you asking? I have seen joint lives with a bunch of people having discussions. Oh yeah, I have seen that. Isn't it how it appears for people when just other people come on? So in school, everyone I'm learning, there is no evil. It's just all the tests for our souls. Nature is the sense of stars having mass. Nature is the sense of stars having mass, isn't capable of empathy to a human degree. Or maybe stars are capable of more empathy than humans. I actually think that idealism is the closest thing to being a coherent frame. That the mind is universal, that the universe is a mind, and we are just disassociative boundaries of the larger mind. So I'm not so sure that that's the case. I hope to do next spring. Yeah, you could do multi-host thing with similar creators too. Yeah, I sometimes I do, not with creators. I've done one. Plant Genie talks about a lot of similar stuff. He goes live like every day. Cool. So again, I'm always open for all kinds of collaborations if it feels right. However, I find that my style is a little bit different than what most people are doing. Not in the sense of like special, just truly different. That I'm really not trying to be. For example, even though I'm talking about the stuff that I'm talking about, I'm trying to stay away from the whole psychedelic genre. I don't want to be associated with it. I don't want my name next to it. I don't want my face next to it. I don't want to be associated with it. I went on Rob's podcast a couple of times. What's his name? Forget the name of the channel. Man. Cal, help me out here. Why am I spacing on him? Hold on. Oh, there you go. Come on. Adaptus. There you go. I don't know why I spaced on that. And super nice guy, great combo. But overall, I would not make a lot of appearances I was invited to speak on quite a few podcasts that have to do with that I turned down because I don't want to be associated with the whole, you know, whoa, psychedelics, man. I don't want to be associated with that. So people who talk about plants for the sake of, like, for example, you know, this differentiation between plants and technology, nature and technology, I'm not down with that. I think it's a misguided message, actually. So there's a lot of little things, little dials that I'm trying to stay away from. So I'm very careful with what I'm actually injecting myself into what kind of space and what kind of energies I'm associating myself with. I'm not saying they're necessarily doing anything wrong. It's beautiful that people aim towards the healing and all that stuff. My personal aim is towards understanding. It's just how I am. So all of that is to say I'm always open to it, but I have to kind of make sure that their content is not leaning a little bit too far into that. If they're barefoot, I'm out. What would you really what would be really interesting to take a photo of the code and put it into AI? Yeah, well, eventually we'll get there. What's up, Heather? Divergent normie. The only thing is the Earth is flat, not similar. Then no disrespect, but I think that's a mistake to disassociate from the psychedelic that showed it. Sure. And that's okay. I'm okay with that. I want to disassociate myself from that. I don't think it's the way to go. I think that it draws the wrong line around the project. Not just mine, but of understanding in general. Because people associate the word psychedelic with a particular thing, and they don't take people as seriously the second they identify as psychedelic people of any kind. I take them less seriously because it shouldn't define your identity. Something that you can do in order to magnify your identity, but it should never be something you wear on your sleeve as the main thing. If that's your thing, you're missing a whole other chunk of reality. He's a genius with his stock and not open. Wait, who is that, Kirsten? I will check out his channel. We'll see. Oh, is that Embody the Men Celestial? Is that what you're talking about, Divergent Normie? Embody the Men Celestial. Let's see. Embody and Celestial TikTok. It's so crazy they don't have hyperlinks. Wait. Come on. Is that supposed to be a guy or a girl? I'm trying to... Oh, here it is. No, that's different. Am I from Europe? Originally, yes. In the framework for idealism is the concept of psychedelics medicine simply unlocking a new thought. Interesting. I think it allows for a rise to a new higher level of functionality of the mind. But it's a really good question. I mean, you cannot say the mass of stars, 10% of stars having 9% of mass justifies ultra wealthy. It's not that it justifies anything, it's just the state of affairs. So to be mad about it is a mistake. That's what I'm saying. Also, it doesn't actually, the fact that the 1% or the 10% have the majority of the wealth does not mean that you actually can't have an incredible life. For the most part, too much wealth actually they found this that there's a sweet spot of a certain income a year where it makes you happy. Beyond that point, you become miserable again because you worry about too many things. So it's not necessarily a good thing. You have too much influence at that point and too much responsibility, and it's heavy. Okay. So all I'm saying is that being mad about this state of affairs is silly. We should always try and create a better situation for humanity as a whole, but I do feel it's kind of like barking at the wrong tree. It's not the issue. Also, if it's just a matter of not everybody are really good at managing funds, and I don't know if it's true, obviously, because we never tried it. but I have strong reasons to believe that is true. Somebody said once that if you're going to redistribute all the money in the world tonight, within a week, the people that had the money will get the money again. Not because they're trying to take it from you, they're just really good at managing their funds. And other people, not everybody are good at that. They don't really know what to do with it. I don't know if you know, but there's a crazy statistic about people who become millionaires from the lotto. Almost every time they lose all their money and they just stay in crazy debt. It's actually like a big curse because they don't know how to manage their funds. So it's a skill, it's an ability, right? And some people have it, some people don't. But you can have a very beautiful life without having any money, or you obviously want some base. We want to get to a place where people naturally can get the basic, and when I say the basic, not just food and shelter. I mean like that they have enough to have hobbies and enjoy life and all of that stuff, so they can enjoy more time and not worry about financial stuff. Absolutely, we should aim there. The being mad at the 10% is barking at the wrong tree. It's not the problem. It's just not. But you're literally disrespecting the molecule that gave you information. No, I'm excavating. I'm removing the label that people put on the molecule. The molecule doesn't belong to psychedelic people. The word psychedelic doesn't even necessarily attach to the molecule. People decided that for the molecule. The molecule never asked anybody to call it that. The molecule never asked anybody to be a community around it. It's just teaching individuals. People aggregate in groups and they make an identity out of it, which I would actually claim the molecules teaches against it. You can have a personal relationship with the molecule and it has nothing to do with disrespecting the molecule. The molecule is the molecule and has nothing to do with the people who aggregate around it. Oh, I didn't see that you were trying to come on. Hey Kirsten, how are you feeling?
Good. I'm doing amazing. Okay, fair point on what you said. I understand. I was literally just, saying don't the molecule that gave you the information, not to disassociate from it so much because it gets that respect in general.
I get it. I don't think it's a matter of respect, to be honest. Even there, I think it's a matter that it opens doors. It doesn't give you information, from what I understand.
Fact. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it opens doors, and you get to interact with more information. So it's almost like saying you gotta respect Facebook, man. Opens doors for you. It's like, okay, I literally see it as that, right? I see people who call themselves psychedelic people. They call themselves Facebookers. I'm a Facebooker. It's like, what is that? Like, I connect to the Facebook. It's like, what? Okay.
No, okay.
No, I literally see it that way. It's like it's a channel that opens to a higher understanding. It did not ask anybody to form an identity around it. If anything, it teaches you against doing that.
True.
Yeah. So that's my point. Just like you would agree with me, for example, that that it's a better way to have a relationship with God one-on-one, so to speak, right, than to follow a herd that believes in mass, right? I feel the same way about the psychedelic community.
Okay, you're speaking about the psychedelic community.
That's
in
what
general.
I said. Yeah, with
Okay.
the word psychedelic was coined by the psychedelic community, and in terms of like we're psychedelic people, right? And it has the word originally was described about mind expanding, but since then that word lost that meaning. The word means a particular thing, and you know that's the case. When you say the word psychedelic, people think of hippies. They think of these pretty red colors. They think of the '60s. They think, people that are. Sometimes they can't even make the distinction between psychedelic people and hippies, and it's like, I'm none of these things. And I think that, and by the way, I feel that not just about psychedelic people, I feel that about anybody who takes an identity by a particular fact, like some kind of a style, right? So the reason I think you see a lot of teenage goths, but you don't see a lot of goths that are adults, even though in their soul they might still, they might still listen to the same music when they grow older and whatever, but they don't dress like that because they no longer derive their identity from being a part of that group. That's all. You can be a person like that, and you can just enjoy whatever. You can go to heavy metal concerts and you can do whatever, and you dress up for that. But you don't need to constantly remind the world that you're this. Same goes, by the way, for communities that have to do with, with if they wear either their sexuality too overtly on the thing, or people who are like immigrants and then they just aggregate around only the immigrants from that country. All of that turns me off. It's like, just be a person. Just aside.
What
Yeah.
the molecule has just always taught me is to just be open, so there could be barefoot people walking around with brilliant information as well. But what I heard you say, and correct me if I'm wrong, is like, I disassociate. If you're barefoot, like, I disassociate from all of that. And
Well,
like,
right, but you also have to kind of know when I'm putting an emphasis as a joke, versus which is more, the joke is more on me than on them, right? It's kind of like what I'm signaling with that joke is to say like, I'm the conservative in the room, so to speak, right? I'm kind of like, I don't want to be associating with the dirty feet barefoot guy, which of course is a joke that is more on me than on them. Like that I don't know. But to me, it's clear that it wasn't.
I got it. It's clear to me too. But you have 35 people in here that I just wanted to make sure that was clear.
I can never make sure that everybody understands me exactly how I mean. I'm just speaking freely, what comes to mind. But I appreciate it. Let's see what we got here. It's the creation of new paths in the brain, and if you want to further develop your brain, exactly. We're all better without labels. I'm all on board. That this is something that I don't know how many of you were following the earlier days of Sam Harris, but one of the things I really appreciate about him is that he never preaches to the choir. Never once he's done that. So whenever he shows up at a conference, if it's like, so there was one conference in which he was talking to like, I don't know, a very large number of atheists, and he was, back then he was labeled as like an atheist, even though, and in that talk, one of the things he told him is like, we should drop that label. This label is not useful, and he got a lot of flack for that. He got a lot of hate, and I love that, because it's a waste of time to just say things that everybody agrees with. You want to challenge people's thought, right? If it's necessary. And what he was saying there, and this is an example that I think applies here as well. He said that saying that you're an atheist is basically losing the PR war from the beginning, because what you do when you say you're an atheist in a conversation is that you draw a chalk on the pavement, somebody draw a chalk on the pavement, and you just come and you lay in it. You're just like, I'm this, and then they just address you appropriately. Versus, you can talk about reason. You can talk about things that are universal, that have nothing to do with belief or not believe in God, things that float a lot more free from any constraint of a definition or a culture or a thing. And I'm always up to move to more universal things. And this is a very universal thing for me, which is try not to wear your association with a group too much on your sleeve. It doesn't benefit you. All it does is just kind of like, it maybe makes you feel part of the community. Yeah, maybe it makes you feel part of the community. That's fine. You can be part of that community. But if you constantly signify to the world that you're that, I think you're missing something. If you're a spiritual person and you are wearing comfortable clothes all the time because it feels good to you, but if you start doing that, going outside like that on purpose just to kind of say I'm a spiritual person because I'm wearing these pants and I'm wearing this, first of all, that's an ego game already. And second of all, that now you're losing the plot again. Just live. That was my point. And the reason that I try specifically not to associate too much with these channels is because they also tend to speak in a particular way that is very one note. It's like, yeah, we all know that mushrooms is great and great and great and this is great. Nothing is that simple. They can also be very terrifying, right? So everything has a middle ground, and I don't feel like that middle ground is being expressed enough. And there's only so many hours in a day, so I pick my time wisely now. That's all. Danny's dissing the shoeless. If I would be famous enough, this would be in the newspaper tomorrow. Danny hates the homeless. I totally meant it in anger. That's true. I say I'm agnostic, and then I'm a non-believer in everything I've seen so far. Put my shoes on right when you said it. It's really funny. Well, my fiance always walks barefoot everywhere, and we always have a battle. She's just showing her legs, her foot. That I can't make the distinction. For me, legs and feet are the same thing. But she always yells at me for walking with shoes in the house. It's hilarious. She's definitely a hippie at heart.
Yes, and Kelsey and I get one another very well because I'm the same way.
Yep. I'm like, get with the program. We're modern people. I put my shoes on right when you said that. It's very funny. It really is very funny. Let's see what we got here. Time is it? Ooh, 9:40. Do you actually want to do the jacuzzi for 20 minutes?
People are asking, are you agnostic? Did you address that?
Oh, I didn't see that. Thank you for telling me. Most of my life, I think I was what you would call an atheist. So not really in the terms of, it was never really that interesting to me to take away people's beliefs. So I was never like that, or not very often like that. But I just never saw a reason to believe in anything. I never experienced it, never felt it, never. All that I saw is that people, when they believe in this stuff, they just, I'm allergic to being part of groups, if you haven't noticed. And then people just get too much together, and they get, in the sense of we're a gang.
You were raised Jewish, right?
No.
No?
No.
Okay.
I was born to, my grandfather was Jewish, my grandmother was a Christian. Judaism actually considers you to be Jewish only by the mother. So if your mother is not Jewish, you technically are not Jewish. But I never had any importance, I never placed any importance on that. I saw the Jewish tradition up close, saw the Christian tradition up close. What I noticed that whenever it's religion, people, to me, seemed confused. I couldn't believe that adults believe this stuff, right? That's what, right. But now, if I want to follow the scientific method with what I've discovered and the elements that I see in the space, I'm like, oh, wait a second, interesting. Okay, but now I've seen it. Now I know there's something. So I have a reason to accept it, and I can talk about that reason. Some people, and I accept that, some people maybe naturally feel it in their bodies. I never did. And this is why I also have a lot of sympathy for people who don't believe, because I'm like, listen, if they don't believe, they don't have any reason to believe. It's not like they're trying really hard not to believe. It's like they have no reason to. So agnostic, no. I know for a fact there is more than this. I know for a fact that there is this element of what you would call the biblical God. I'm not certain which one is first. I don't know which one is the chicken, which one is the egg. I don't know if God is the one running all the simulations and we perceive it as the technical civilizations that I'm seeing, or the advanced civilization is running all the simulations, and in them you have the holy element as kind of like a binding force, almost like a checks and balances system. But I know I'm not even an agnostic. I know for a fact it exists. The reason I know that is because I saw it.
And you saw that it was feminine.
Yeah, that it was a woman, not just feminine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But all the other things exist too, which I was very surprised. Now, I would say, I'm always, no matter how much I saw, no matter how much concretely, I always, in the back of my mind, I always have the thought, all of it might be wrong. All of it. And if I have any reason to just drop it right now, I'll drop it right now.
Beautiful.
Yeah. That's it. I think people get a little bit too involved with what they think is true. Just always keep it light. You never know. You never know. And don't accept everything that people tell you, because most of the time it's wrong. Wait, so do you do want? Babe, you do want to? Okay, all right. So, because actually Kelsey going to also have a Vipassana retreat in a couple of days, and we want to spend. We don't have a lot of time together, and because we're too busy, so I'm gonna go and spend some time with my future wife. Love you all, and tell us about the laser. I'll tell you about the laser
too.
tomorrow.
Give Kelsey a big hug for me. Love you guys.
Have a good night. Peace and love. See you guys Twitch and YouTube and X. I'll see you tomorrow. You got balloons.